Hello everybody! Welcome to another episode of the Vesper's Retro Reviews, the 2021 Spooktober edition. I'm Ramsis.
And I'm the Vesper. And today we're going to be talking about the movie for this year's celebration. And that's going to be Alien, the first in the Aliens franchise.
I've never seen Alien, the first one from 1979, and the Vesper is a big fan of the Alien series. And since we do all things retro and fun here, how could Ramses have not seen Alien? Well, I never did, but that's all changed. So this is going to be a first take, a reaction. We actually watched the director's cut, but this is going to be our review for our Halloween Spectacular for 2021.
So just a little bit of background here. Alien is a 1979 science fiction horror film that was directed by Ridley Scott and was also written by Dan O'Bannon. Now, this follows the exploits of the crew of the space tug Nostromo, who encounter an mysterious alien and gets loose on the ship due to what you would expect happens in any horror movie, be it sci-fi or otherwise. Sheer stupidity. So Ramses, please, go ahead. Give us some thoughts about this.
I didn't know what to expect. I'm going to level with everybody here. I am not a horror movie fan. So, I love science fiction, I love fantasy, I love comedies. Horror movies, not really. But this mixes sci-fi with horror. So, there's a chance. Maybe this will be good. I thought it was really fun. I'm glad I finally got to see it. It was definitely worth the wait. So I'm glad you introduced it.
Now, let's first talk about the characters. We have Tom Skerritt as Captain Dallas, Sigourney Weaver as Ripley, the warrant officer, Veronica Cartwright as Lambert, the Nostromo's navigator. We have Harry Dean Stanton as Brett, the engineering technician, John Hurt as Kane, the executive officer, Ian Holm as Ash, the ship's science officer, Yaphet Kotto as Parker, the chief engineer.
And that's who our main cast are. This is the focal of the whole movie. By the way, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review. I just want everyone to know I am not keeping any secrets here. So I hope you've seen Alien, or if you haven't seen Alien, this is your chance to find out all about the movie.
So I want you to give your impressions of what you think of each character. Let's start with Captain Dallas. What'd you think?
Alright, not really much of a captain. I mean, I guess I'm still learning what this whole corporation is and what...
Weyland-Yutani is the name of the corporation.
Oh, okay. All right.
Building better worlds.
He's not Captain Kirk, let's be honest. He's not even Captain Picard or even Captain Stuving of the Love Boat. I called him a bus driver and Vesper laughed at that, but that's pretty much what it is. He's flying a cargo ship from one point of the galaxy to another, and that's it. I didn't like the character that much, but I thought he was very brave. That moment, and we'll get into that later, there's a moment in this movie where it's like, wow, this guy has got guts. He's gonna do that, and yeah, he did it. That was the only scene. I thought that he did a lot of questionable stuff. I didn't like all his actions, but I thought Tom Skerritt was great.
I see where you're coming from, but for me, I actually like Captain Dallas. But then again, I have a great history in watching horror films and science fiction. Dallas is a corporate man, and you see that at the beginning. He just wants to do his job and be done with it. Well, Ramses didn't necessarily like it. I thought that all things said and done, for a captain that's not in Star Trek or Star Wars or the Love Boat, was actually a very relatable captain. Next up, we have Warrant Officer Ellen Ripley.
Well, how can you not like her? I haven't seen the rest of the Alien movies, but obviously I know she's the main focal point of many of them. She's just a great protagonist. You get behind her. The director's cut we watched, there's a few scenes where she really is the smart one out of all of them. She makes a lot of sense. You're rooting for her. I thought she was great. You saw the fear in her eyes. You saw the emotion in her. She was really trying to do the right thing by everybody. Yeah, great action hero. I have nothing bad to say about her. I thought she was wonderful.
I'm going to agree with Ramses on this, which you should write down in a...
Yeah, it doesn't happen often.
Yes, Ellen Ripley is the perfect character for this movie. Very believable, and that's what makes that character so great. Next, we're going to talk about Lambert, the Nostromo's navigator, the only other female character in this movie.
Well, as much praise as I have for Ripley, I'm going to have to unfortunately go the other. I didn't like this character at all. In older movies, and we can relate to this, we love retro movies, a lot of the female characters will be exactly like this. The oh my god, and the panicking, and the crying, and the emotional. That's her role here. She's upset the whole movie, she's very emotional. She wears her heart on her sleeve the whole time. She gets mad when people do things against one of the other crew. So she's very loyal. I give her that. She's a very loyal character. She doesn't want anyone harmed. Wants everyone safe. But he's your typical upset woman in this. And I hate to say that, but that's unfortunately what her role was. I didn't like her that much. I like the actress. Don't get me wrong. The actress was great. But the character didn't do it for me.
I too did not like Lambert. But I saw her role more as to give tension. Because all the other guys were sort of handling it step by step. What you would think of just people that's done too much work. And she is high-strung. She's the emotional one. She was needed, as no one could reflect this terror as she did. As a matter of fact, Cartwright actually won a Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress because of this performance. Now, next we're going to talk about Brett, the engineering technician. Now, there's two of them in here. Now, Brett is the grizzled-looking engineer, basically.
You need a fun character like that in the movie. He was the one that kept saying right to everything, right?
Yeah.
Right.
He's a union worker of the future. This is his job. This is what we're supposed to do. Whatever. I don't care. But he was fun. I have nothing bad to say about him because his role is sort of not as major as the other character. He's sort of there, he does what he has to, and then he's sort of removed eventually.
My thoughts on Brett are as follows. I mean, he is a good sidekick to the main engineer, which is Parker. Now, the reason that Brett is so good is he's sort of like your everyman. He's just there to do his job. He's listening to his boss, and unlike in many circumstances of the world, the boss and the worker actually have a good relationship. I have seen many sci-fi movies, many horror movies. Brett has the I'm going to be the first to die. Hate to say it, but you know what? He surprises you. He isn't the first to die.
Oh, he actually didn't die first, so good for him.
Well, I'll go ahead and say he's the second to die.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the main engineer, which is Parker.
I thought he was one of my favorite characters. When I saw this guy, he's joking, he's funny, he's witty, he's brave, he's everything you want in an action hero. I mean, and this is not even an action movie. This is a sci-fi horror movie. But he's like, wow, give this guy his own movie. Grabbing a flamethrower at one point, he's like ready to blast the baddie. He was the first one to say we have to do the right thing, get rid of this thing. Yeah, I love the character. I thought he was great. I wish there was more characters like this. But I understand you can't have every character be the gung-ho, I'm gonna get you, and be the comedic and the fun. But there's nothing bad to say about this guy. He was great. I would love to hang out and have a beer with this guy. I thought he was one of the best characters in the whole movie.
I'm going to actually agree with you on that. As the first time you see him in the film, he's asking, what about my bonuses? We do all the work around here being the engineers. Well, you're on a spaceship, so you figure that your engineers should get paid a little bit more. They keep you from dying in the vacuum.
Right, exactly.
I do agree with what you said. He's always there. He's very emotional, but he's also got some big cojones here as well. If he does look familiar to you, that's because he was Dr. Kanaga in James Bond film Live and Let Die.
Oh, yes, I was wondering why he looks so familiar.
Let's talk about Kane now. Everybody should recognize John Kane from one movie if they've never seen this one. It's called Spaceball.
Yeah, the guy digs me. Hey, what's wrong with this guy? I don't know. Bring him some water. Water my ass. Bring this guy some Pepto-Bismol. Oh, no. Not again.
I recognized him right away. Like I said, I never saw Alien before. I said, that's the guy from Spaceballs in that classic scene. So yeah, that was cool. So now I get the joke, so there you go. I didn't like this character that much. Yes, in a horror movie, you need the stupid moron. This guy's the stupid moron. Things he does are very questionable. And what do you think is going to happen when you do things like this?
But, Ramses, they do justify this in exactly one throwaway line. You would be the first to volunteer for this.
Right. Well, I don't think I would be. I didn't love him. The actor was great. I thought he was great as the part. The catalyst of the whole movie, though, so good for him. But yeah, there's nothing to really attach myself to.
Well, I think that, for what it was worth, he truly was a plot device. But overall, the character was very nice. You could see that the people were a crew. But overall, not much to say about him. For the fact he really was a plot device, you really don't get to know him like you do the others. Other than the fact that there literally was just one throwaway line to justify him being
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Now let's talk about Ash, the ship's science officer.
It caught me off guard. See, usually I'm pretty good with this. Vespor can attest.
Yes.
I usually catch these
He
things.
is very good at spotting
This
these
one,
things.
I didn't really realize what he was up to. I knew he was up to something, and again, we'll get to the plot, based on the plot, and that he was a catalyst to it also. But I didn't get this. They tricked me with this one, I'll be honest. So, yeah, spoiler again, it turns out he's an android pretty much, or a robot, or a cyborg, whatever word you want to use.
They're actually
for it.
called synthetics in the universe, but they're
Right.
not referred to as a synthetic till Aliens.
The plant by the corporation. For what he was supposed to be there for, he played it perfectly. He's not supposed to be the friend, he's programmed for one mission. The corporation has another motive with him. The way he interacted with everybody, it was very standoffish. He played his role well. He played all the parts to make it happen so that they can get what they're after, which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting character. You need a character like this in a movie like this, though. You can't have everyone being best friends and buddies, but you need the antithesis to create some diversion amongst everything. I thought he played it well. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Ramses, that he was the surprise antagonist. Although, like I said, there's so many red herrings to point this out that he's going to be the betrayer. He's definitely keeping his secrets. And
Right.
so when he betrays them, it's not so big of a surprise.
Right. Remember, this is made in 1979, and as we're going to show in a lot of movies we review here, corporations are the real villain. Just watch RoboCop, watch any other movie made in the 70s, 80s. It's the corporation, so it didn't surprise me at all that this corporation was just as evil as every other one.
So now that we looked over each of the characters and talked about them, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Let's talk about the movie, starting from the beginning and working our way to the ending.
Right.
So, Ramses, why don't you tell us about what you saw in the beginning, how it opened?
Alright, so yeah, this was my first time seeing it, and I guess everyone out there can remember what was your first time seeing a movie, so this is all new to me. They start out showing the huge Nostromo ship with its domes everywhere, and you're wondering what's going on. They're all waking up on their pods.
They're called cryo-sleep chambers.
Right, so all the characters we mentioned, we don't have to name them again, every character we just mentioned is one of them waking up. They're woken up early.
On their way to Earth from wherever star system it is.
20 million tons of ore, and they're going back to Earth, but they're woken early. So that's where the big twist comes. Why are they woken early? So the captain determines that the computer said, yeah, there was a special protocol. They had to be woken early because of a reason. The reason is every 12 seconds they're getting a message, and it's an alien in nature, and that's all we know. And unfortunately for them, their prime directive says that if they pick up any extraterrestrial or any alien, any signs of life, they have to stop all operations and head right to it. So that's what happened.
Because if they don't, they won't get paid. Now, isn't that suck?
Yeah, I mean, that's a horrible clause to your contract. Oh, by the way, you can do everything, but if you pick up any alien life signs, you have to go for it. And what if we don't? You get nothing. All right, we have to do it.
Well, I mean, this is also where you establish in the movie the camaraderie they feel.
And obviously, you know this is all going to end in disaster, but that's the fun of the movie.
Isn't it amazing how over 100 years in the future that all their technologies is based on 1970s technology?
Yeah, I thought it was funny. They had all the CRT TVs. They had all these Star Trek original series push buttons everywhere. I thought it was funny. And I know, looking at this in 2021, it's like, wow, we're looking at it from very future rose glasses, and that's terrible to do. But no, I thought they did well. They used 1970s technology the best they could. They added a lot of flashing lights and numbers and digits going over. I thought it was alright.
Did you know this, Ramses? They use that aesthetic throughout almost all of their comics, novels, and movies.
No, I didn't know that, and that's great. So it is refreshing to know that Alien said, nope, this is what the technology looks like, and this is what it'll always look like. And I give them props for that. That's cool if they did that. Alright, so yes, what happens next? Okay, so they're on the tug of the ship, and now they're going to land on this planet. They crash land onto the planet. It takes about a day to fix it, I think they said.
No, their exact quotes was, Brett said, hey, tell her 17 hours. And then our hero Parker goes 25 hours.
Right, they pulled a Scotty on us.
Yeah, well, I told the captain I'd have this analysis done in an hour.
How long would it really take?
An hour?
Oh, you didn't tell him how long it would really take, did you?
Well, of course I did.
Oh, laddie, you've got a lot to learn if you want people to think of you as a miracle worker.
They land on a rock. So, yeah, and you notice those lights on the bottom? I thought that was funny. Those little Christmas lights, the white Christmas lights.
Oh, I love the fact they were never in a straight line.
Right. So they're wearing these crazy spacesuits, huge glass domes with the backpacks and the things lighting up. And they're big. They're bulky suits. I thought that was a great prop.
And it actually looked believable.
Yeah. So I thought that was fun. They're walking around in this now, I guess it's an alien ship. That's where we are now. They come to a dead body of one of the engineers. I guess that's what they'll be called in the future. Because I thought it was interesting. They show this like deformed body. Obviously the alien already got to it. It has ribs that are like bending the wrong way into it. It's like bulky and strong and looks like a totally different creature. So at least they tried to come up with something different. Now we realize we're in a horror movie. Something's gonna go wrong here. You see what happened to this guy. He's all decayed. It's like he's been there for a very long time. He definitely was killed in a very horrific way. All these crew members should be saying, let's get the hell out of here. But that's not exactly what happened.
Remember how we talked about Kane having one of those moments? He happens to find a plate in the floor that is, of course, melted through. So Lambert says, we should get out of here.
Right, and they should have listened to that, but it wouldn't be a horror movie if they did, so obviously they didn't. But Kane is adventurous. That's his personality. So he's the only one brave enough to go explore, see what's going on this ship. Everyone else is trying to figure out how to get the ship fixed and get out of here. He finds a whole room of alien eggs. The whole floor is just filled with them. He falls onto where all the eggs are. So he's like, well, I'm already here. Might as well knock on one of them, which is like a moron. So he walks to one of the eggs, knocks on it, it opens up, and this is a cool effect. For 1979, it looks pretty impressive. It's disgusting. All this, the goo inside of it.
Oh, and by the way, this egg is showing that there's something alive in it as he's shining a floodlight through it.
Right. I mean, I was actually laughing. It was kind of stupid. He dips his head in, and he's wearing this huge glass dome. Well, that glass dome's not going to protect him from this thing. The facehugger jumps right out of the egg, and and that's it. The whole process starts from this moment. sort of fade away from all this, and they bring him back to the ship. And now this is in the director's cut. Ripley does not want to let him back in. No. 24 hours, we're not letting him in. And of course, the doctor lets him right in because that's his mission. So that starts the whole process. So now they brought this alien on board. They have Kane laying on the hospital bed, and the doctor, quote-unquote, is doing his stuff, but he's not really doing anything. He's letting the process play out because that's his job here. Pretty much Kane is in a lot of trouble. The facehugger's now this disgusting thing feeding off of him. It has a pipe stuck into him. It's shoving air and keeping him alive because it's gonna insert its thing into him and
into his chest, to be specific.
Right. They cut off one of the legs and acid spits right out of it, and it burns through 3 decks. Finally it stopped, and like, all right, I guess we can't cut the legs off.
And the best part is they investigate this strange acidic fluid with a pencil.
Right.
And the best part is they hand the pencil right back to Brett.
And I love how the future they're still using number 2 pencil. I guess the number 2 pencil works no matter what generation we're in, so...
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Alright. Ripley was right all along, obviously, but since the doctor is working against everybody, he's the one that overrides everyone. He's working directly for the corporation.
And by the way, this is the first red herring where you think something's going on.
Ripley sort of called him out and everything, and the doctor, who's a robot, was like, well, whatever, that's what I did, I'm the doctor. And even the captain's like, well, he's the doctor.
Oh, by the way, not this doctor.
And not this doctor either, but a doctor. Yes, there we are, that doctor. Everyone's mad at everyone. Like, Ripley doesn't like they brought him in. Lambert's upset that she even questioned bringing him. This is our friend. How can you even deny that Kane can be brought in here? Again, the captain's doing his job, and he's the captain of the ship. He's not here to question what the science officer decides.
By the way, this also gives off the air of Ripley being, quite frankly, a bitch.
She's doing her job. Again, it's hard to picture all these people as working for a company, but that's pretty much what it is. They're not Star Trek. They're not Star Wars. This is just a regular bunch of employees. She's their supervisor. She's trying to make sure all the rules are followed properly. Of course, it turned out she was exactly right. So there you go. She was right all along. I'm back. The face hugger's now dead. And this is a very cool effect how they did this. And it pretty much looks like a seafood platter or something, right?
Yeah, there's seafood in there and some other food as well. But yes, you can watch about that in numerous documentaries talking about it.
And the face hugger's now fully dead. It did what it's supposed to do. He wakes up again. His face is all clean and healed. I was like, wow, that's amazing. The thing was strangling him. The thing was clawing into him. He's fine. I knew right away that they were acting very stupidly. But again, when you learn the doctor was corrupt all along, then it makes a little sense that he let him out and everything. They're all like, yay, he's awake. And he's all like, oh, what happened? What's the last thing you remember? Oh, something about being smothered, but I'm all right now. It's like, shouldn't the guy stay in quarantine? Shouldn't we check? Shouldn't we x-ray? No. The doctor is corrupt, so he's not going to do anything. Let's go have breakfast or lunch or whatever. Let's go have a meal. And I was like, wow.
Our last meal before cryosleep,
right? Exactly. I was like, wow, this is kind of stupid. But I understand the necessity of it. Not just because I didn't like it doesn't mean it's needed. I mean, there was a lot of movie logic with this Kane character. Sorry, Kane. That's all you're here for, to spread the story along.
This is marking the part where everything goes from hunky-dory to bad. I mean, like, really bad. This is when it starts feeling like a suspense horror film.
They're having their last meal. The guy starts convulsing. The thing's growing and bursting out of him. This is the famous scene. Vesper jumps out, runs away, waves goodbye, and now our first death happens. So, sorry, Kane, you're no longer with us. That actually kills him. Then his body off into space, and now the hunt's on.
Kill count 1, by the way.
So, yep, that's our first victim, and now the hunt starts.
Ash, the science officer, comes up with basically a motion tracker that tracks density error changes. So if you point in the right direction, it starts buzzing louder, so you know that something's moving.
So pretty much he's giving a device that's not going to help him at all. It's going to let him know that it's there, but it doesn't help you do it.
Oh, and by the way, they have to be pretty close. And the other equipment they start out with is also basically a cattle prod.
Now they're all doing what you're not supposed to do in a horror movie, splitting up. So there's a little jump scares in this movie, and they do that through the use of Jones, the orange tabby cat, where this darn cat keeps on getting in the way with everything. It leads us to a lot of moments where we're not sure what's going to happen until now fully grown adult alien. So we're like, what happened? But yeah, I guess they go fast. They don't really explain it. And now we're about to lose our next victim here.
Victim 2, Brett.
So yep, Brett is gone now. So we're in real big trouble. So the aliens are now huge. Not this little chest burster anymore. It's this gigantic thing.
So, since you haven't seen any of the movies, did you think all of them were going to die or not?
It is a spoiler too. I already knew Ripley survived. Even if you haven't seen any Alien, you just know Ripley is in it. But yes, I thought everyone else was going to die except for Ripley. I thought this is horror movies where everyone but the main protagonist dies, and that's pretty much what it was.
I would say that I went into the actual movie and was thinking that hopefully Parker and Dallas would live. Those are my hopeful 3 survivors. But as we all know, Ellen Ripley is the only survivor.
That's it. Sorry, guys. But yep, so now Brett's dead, and the whole crew is freaking out. Uh-oh, it got 2 of us now.
At this point, you had Lambert going, let's get the hell out of this spaceship. Number 2, Ellen Ripley, you need to stay in quarantine for 24 hours. By the way, if they had done this, the alien would never been able to get on the ship.
So now they're all freaking out. They're having a lot of fights, and you're like, oh boy, this captain's kind of dopey. He's kind of like doesn't care. Nope, that all ends right here. The captain's gonna go into the air ducts with a flamethrower because they feel that flames will hurt it. Some creatures react differently to different extreme temperatures. And the captain says, let me have it. I've had enough of this. I'm going into the air ducts and I'm gonna burn this thing out. So I already knew that's it. He's done because that was a horrible idea.
I hate to say it, I did too. When that happened, I was like, oh, this isn't going to end well.
It's like, that's one of the stupidest ideas I ever heard. And spoilers, it was a stupid idea.
In the movie, it actually showed where things were not working right. They don't know where it's at. He said, I want to get the hell out of here. And that's why I said I really feel that these characters are relatable, because I could relate to us if I wanted to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I was like, that's my reaction too. Get me the hell out of here. I want out of here.
Oh, and by the way, Ripley actually did volunteer to go in because she was following chain of command. Don't let your captain, unlike Star Trek,
go on the main missions all the time holding the gun and being the hero. Yeah. So obviously it doesn't work. All right, let's add it on to the counter because I think that's the end of him. He won't survive this. He's dead. Parker wants this thing dead. It's killed 3 of his friends now. That's it. Now it's personal. He wants this thing dead. Ripley's trying to give him the voice of reason. Listen, it's already killed a lot of us. Let's not just dump in gung-ho. Let's try to go back to the original plan. Lambert wants off of this, and she's right.
Oh, by the way, guess what? That's number 3 reason to save everybody's lives. Why is the most emotionally fragile character of all of them most sane? This makes no sense. That's not how it's supposed to be. But you know what? This also gives a little depth to Lambert and the fact that she's still thinking, not just an emotional mess. So,
yeah,
I mean,
she's really trying to think. 3 of my coworkers are dead, my friends. This is crazy. Let's get the hell out of here. We're dealing with a creature. No, let's try the original place. So Ripley was a little stupid here, but again, that's the plot of the movie, so what are they going to do? Lambert had a great idea, but there's a caveat. They have 5 people left. There's only 4 spots in that escape pod.
Ash is being highly uncooperative at this point.
Right, so now Ripley is going to find out what's going on. She's now in command. The captain's gone. That's it. That puts Ripley fully in control. He's going to talk to the computer. The computer has a personality, sort of, kind of.
It's called Mother.
This isn't the computer from Star Trek. I mean, HAL the computer. You type things in and it'll answer you pretty much.
It's a supercomputer.
Yeah. So you can ask it anything, but it's not a vocal computer. It's not you pick up a mic and talk.
Hello, computer.
Computer? Hello, computer.
Just use the keyboard.
The keyboard. How quaint.
Not that even. And the effect's kind of cool. It's very 70s, though. Even in 1979, an alien, for some reason, thought the future was going to be room-filled supercomputers. And again, the effect looked cool, so I'm not going to question that. I thought it was a cool room. But yeah, it's funny how even in Alien, we couldn't picture a computer would ever be small. It's still going to be room-filling, even though it's much smaller than the supercomputers at the time. So yes, she's on the supercomputer Mother, and this is like a creepy part now. This is where we find out what's really going on with this doctor here. Ripley's on to the doctor. She doesn't know what about him, but she knows he's not helping them. He's against them very clearly. And she's now in charge, so she's going right to Mother to find out what's going on. And then this is like the scare moment. Ash shows up right behind her, almost like in a creepy stalker-like way. And they get into a huge fight. The computer's pretty much telling Ripley that she has no command here. The doctor overrode everything. Goal of this corporation is pretty much get this extraterrestrial life back to us at all costs. Everyone on board is expendable. We want this alien, and that's it. And when she finds this out, it's like, oh my god, we're pretty much all dead. And the doctor's behind it. So we wonder, how's the doctor going to survive? Well, this huge battle happens, and he's doing some freaky thing. He's taking a magazine and shoving it in her throat.
That actually is a way to suffocate. That's actually a way that you can do it and not know how they died.
And he has superhuman strength, so we're realizing, wow, this is not a doctor here. He's dripping white liquid everywhere. You're like, what is going on? It was just he was a robot, we find out, because the rest of the surviving crew members come in, they save her, they beat the robot up, and then his head comes off. And you see all the circuitry inside of him, and the white oil or
goo, just call it the white goo.
Yeah, the white goo's in him, the lubricant. So we realize, wow, the robot all along. And that was an interesting twist. You would not expect that in the movie unless you were going in saying, this is the future, let's do some future technology. And there you go, it's a robot, so there's the future. The robot was sent there by the corporation to get this alien. They knew the alien existed because of this distress signal. The new command became, get this alien life back, get rid of everybody else who cares. And now they beat up the robot, and it's sort of in this discombobulated form on a table. Now, the effect is very cheesy. I mean, let's be honest, in 1979, how else are you going to do a head on a platform? So, yes, they show, like, this weird mannequin. It's obviously not his face at first. And then they sort of, like, jump away to the scene, and now it's his head with a sheet around it on a table.
It worked for what it was. I mean, this is 1979. I don't hold effects to the same level as I do today.
Oh, no, you can't, so... So it's cool. He has the white goo all over him. He's now in this robotic voice, and he's pretty much revealing the whole plan. The directive said that if we find extraterrestrial life, I'm to get it back, and you guys are all expendable. And that's it.
And he dies with a smug smile.
He's like, hey, it's a perfect creature. It just
You're dead.
It's survived. You guys have no chance of surviving.
Actually, it doesn't sound like I said it. It sounds like this.
I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies.
Finally, we get to see Parker use his flamethrower, and boy, does he burn this robot to ash. I mean, the whole thing melts right off of him. I hope that felt better, Parker, because, you know, that's probably the best moment you get in the whole movie.
This guy, I think, is just as good a hero as Ellen Ripley is.
Oh, yeah. I just wish he got to do more. You know what happens in all these sci-fi movies. You've seen Spaceballs. I know we keep mentioning Spaceballs, but they borrowed a lot from this movie. When all else fails, push that self-destruction button. And that's pretty much what that last plan is. That's it. Screw this. We're blowing up this ship, and we're getting out of here. So, start self-destruction process. You have to pull canisters from everywhere. You got to put it into the thing. Ripley's going for that before-mentioned cat. She wants her cat. She's not going to leave
Jones,
the cat.
by the way.
Yes, she wants Jones the cat. She's not leaving behind. So here we are. We separated again. So now Ripley's on the other side of the ship. She's looking at the cat. So we have Lambert and Parker to survive on the escape ship. They're getting oxygen. But they're separated, so you know they're in trouble. So yep, sure enough, the big bad alien shows up. Grr, grr, roar, here I am. Parker puts up a good fight. Lambert's very scared, and rightfully so. This thing's deadly. It has the teeth shooting out, the metal teeth. The strobe light effect, so you can't really see the cheesy costume. It is a cheesy costume, but with the strobe light, it looks cool, so I'm glad they did that.
And that's the whole point of it. This is why it won awards for costume and stuff. It's because of the fact they were able to hide all the parts that showed it was obviously fake, and I will give them credit. It was awesome.
And this is the scene where we finally get to see full body what this alien looks like. It has the metal teeth that shoot out. It has that domed head. I'm sure there's terms for all these things. It has the tail. It has the things coming out of its side. Finally, we get to see this alien and what it has to offer. And it's deadly. It pretty much takes care of Lambert and Parker pretty quickly. All this happens with screams in the background as Ripley's getting the cat. So that's it. Add some more to the counter here. We've lost everybody now. So yep, the self-destruct's going. And it's a 10-minute counter. You have 5 minutes to change your mind, which is very nice. Director's cut now. We come to an interesting moment. She's in a chamber and it's all looking alien like. It's like similar to the first ship, the Prometheus ship, where they found the alien originally. So the alien's already starting to do its thing. It has Dallas and Brett now in this goo. Dallas is like, kill me now, please, kill me, kill me, kill me. And that's it. This is all director's cut, by the way. Definitely check out the director's cut.
It also is considered non-canon, but for what it's worth, I still like the director's cut here. I mean, it adds a little bit more to it. Plus, also shows them encasing people in the resin that it creates, which also sets up for aliens. I mean, James Cameron, who directed the second Aliens, took a lot from these scenes, too.
She takes the flamethrower and puts them out of their misery, and rightfully so. That's it. It's Ripley and the alien. That's who are left. There's a whole stupid scene where she's getting this stupid cat, and it's a futuristic cat carrier. Look at this thing, yes.
By the way, this cat carrier looks like it can survive a nuclear explosion.
I know. I wish we had this technology now. A lot of cats would be safe, I'll tell you. She and the cat Jones are rushing to the escape pod, and the big bad alien's blocking her right there. Uh-oh.
Apparently aliens don't like cats, because it swatted the crap out of that cat carrier.
Oh, yeah. I was like, uh-oh, there goes the cat. Well, no, all the saving it for nothing. But like we said, this is a super cat carrier, so the cat was fine. So she runs back to the self-destruct device, and remember, you only have 5 minutes, so she's undoing all the devices. She's, oh my god, the levers, and the counter's going, telling you how much time you have left until the 5 minutes. 3, 2, 1. She's clicking everything. Nope, you weren't in time.
3 levers. Only 3 levers left.
So Ripley, in her frustration, throws something through the screen and says, screw this, I gotta leave now. She runs back, picks up the cat. Oh, the alien's gone. Okay, yeah, it was standing in front of the pod a moment ago, but I guess it just left. Good, I'm gonna run into the pod. She runs into the pod. We have an epic, I mean, this is one of the most epic explosions I think I've ever seen. I mean, watching from a window over here, the whole ship that they were just on exploded. That's it. She's like, oh, good, it's over. But you know it's not over. So, you know, she's getting the cat set up into the cryo sleep. She's getting a more comfortable uniform. But wait, there's more. Alright, it's there the whole time. There's spoilers. Alright, so now it's the final battle. That's it. Once and for all, it's going to be either Ripley or this alien. One of them will survive. Yeah, so this is her last shot. You're going to drift out in space on this thing or you're done for it. She puts the new uniform on. She grabs the thing. She sees it. She has to get it out from its hiding side. It's sort of hiding in the piping there.
By the way, I do want to point this out, because even as a young kid when I saw this, I was like, it sticks its hand out for a jump scare right in front of her.
Yeah.
It didn't get out. It didn't follow her. It just laid there. And I was going, what's it doing? It showed that it likes to kill people.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I didn't mention it when we watched it, but I noticed that too, and I thought that was strange. Why is the sudden change in personality?
It's called plot armor.
It's killing everything, and now all of a sudden it has a fear that I better stay in hiding, and I'm not gonna kill now. It was a little stupid, but it sets up a fun confrontation. So she pushes a button, the steam of the vents come out, like ouch. They already established that maybe it doesn't like heat, I guess it doesn't. So it comes out of its hiding. He pushes the button, the door opens, and you know what happens when you open the door in outer space? Everything starts to suck out, and that's the same thing that happens. It's holding on for its life. But yes, she shoots her harpoon gun. Ow, it goes right through him, but he's not done yet. It's still latching on even as the door closes because the door is holding the grappling hook in place. But they finish it in an epic way. She pushes another button, the whole engine comes to life, and pretty much...
Puts it off into outer space.
Yeah, so that's the end of the Alien, and...
Oh, by the way, these engines on a space shuttle do not incinerate this thing. This shows you how tough this thing was.
I think that's a cool nod. It shows that that flamethrower wouldn't have done anything, even if this plan worked. That flamethrower was not going to harm it in the slightest. So that's cool that we learned that the flamethrower plan was bad all along. Alright, so yeah, and then she does her final log, and she gives like a little note that hopefully in 6 weeks I'll be picked up and rescued. And I guess that's what we're supposed to assume. If there's no sequel, we'll assume that's what would have happened. But that's it, yeah. She escapes to freedom to live another day. That's the Alien part.
Overall, he gave a very good description, his thoughts on it.
I mean, there's only like 3 or 4 moments that are questionable in this movie. Everything else, though, was a lot of fun.
Now, it's time for us to give our ratings for this movie, and we're going to be doing this as we usually do on a 5-star system. So, my thoughts, as this is one of my favorite movies of all time, and is arguably one of the best movies of all times, at least for science fiction, I'm giving this bad boy a 5 stars. Now, why am I giving this a 5 star? It's because it has everything you want in a movie. It has character development, it has an interesting setting, and it has drama with the wonderful blind side coming in the form of Ash. So why is there not to like about this movie? Now, I'm looking over here at Ramses here, and I can see from the shaking of his head that he doesn't quite agree with me, but you know what? I'm the Vesper, and it's my view that counts more than his, so just remember that. So Ramses, now what do you think about this movie?
This is my personal opinion of the movie. This is not based on, oh my god, I'm a reviewer, I gotta give it a certain... No, this is just my personal feeling, that's all. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. It's definitely better than a lot of horror sci-fi movies, and I've seen too many of them to name. It's definitely very good. It was exciting. I didn't love every character, as I mentioned when we talked about the characters, but I liked every character. And the story developed very nicely. It had a nice sequence of events, a lot of twists and turns. Some of the characters were a little dopey in their actions, and I think that holds it back. Things were a little predictable. The effects are a little questionable. I know it's 1979. So, no, I liked it. I could definitely watch this movie again. Let's put it that way. I'm not the type that likes horror movies. This is not a horror movie. This is really more of a...
I call it suspenseful.
Yeah, it's more of a suspense. Even though I'm not a big fan of, but this is good. I could watch this again. If someone said, oh, let's watch Alien, and I haven't seen it in a while, I'd say, yeah, absolutely, let's watch it. That was a fun movie. So I liked it. I liked the story. I thought some of the things they did were really cool. I liked Ash the robot. I love that self-destruction. I love the whole, alien chasing everyone down. That was fun. The characters are cool. The actors were great. I have nothing better to say. Any of the actors in this movie, they were really great. The music was great. We didn't talk about Jerry Goldsmith, who did the soundtrack. He was great. So yeah, it's 3.5 to me. I just don't love this genre. But yes, Alien's a classic, and rightfully so. It's one of those great movies that everyone has to see, and I can't believe it took me this long to finally see it. That's me and the Vesper's feeling on Alien. He loves the movie. I liked it. So there you go. Definitely see if you haven't. It's definitely Halloween now, so now's the time to watch it. If you haven't seen the Alien movies in a while, now's the time to do it. And we're not done with our Alien celebration here. We're actually going to add a few more little Alien things here and there. Maybe a video game or two. We'll see.
Yeah, I hear there's a couple.
Yes. Oh no. Yeah. I don't want you to see this yet. I found some Alien games. I think you will like these. We're gonna get.
Oh, so this is going to be a first-time reaction to these games, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to say uh-oh about this.
So that's it, everybody. Let us know, and very importantly, please let us know your take on Alien. And please, this is Ramses. Don't bash me. I know I don't love the movie as much as some people do, but I definitely didn't hate it. I'm sorry I don't love it like some of you guys did. But I do want to hear all your reactions. Did you love the movie? Did you hate it? What scenes were your favorite? And if you're not part of our team yet, please like, subscribe, comment, and...
ring the bell.
That's right. So thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Vesper Gaming.
And remember, push V if you agree with my rating.